Hello and welcome to Apex Instant Tips, episode number 168. We're your hosts. I'm Anton.
And I'm Marwa. Hi, Anton.
Hi, Marwa. Great to see you again, as always. Well, as people know, we try to squeeze in a tip in just 5 minutes. Today's tip is really a more of a what's your best practice question for our audience. We're going to show a couple of ways that that you can approach changing the look and feel of your application and try to get a sense of what other people prefer to do, and see what I think really ultimately, Marwa, we should reach out to Shakeeb and have him come in and answer this for us. So let's do this. We're going to show a couple of ways, and then I'm going to reach out to Shakeeb and ask him to watch this episode and come back and tell us just how wrong we are.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got a couple of reports. We want to change the way the headers look, the background, and so forth. Let's share your screen and show me how you made this classic report look the way it looks.
Yes, as you can
And I'm going to
see,
kick off the timer. I'm going to kick off the timer right now so that we don't cheat. Here we go.
Okay, thank you. So this is a classic report. We made some changes. As you can see, there is the header with green color and then the blue background color also. So what I did is I went and I copied the template. I created a copy of the original template and I made some changes there. So
you can do this with classic reports because classic reports have a report template. So let's go take a look at what you did there.
Hey guys, yes, can we just pause 1 second? We don't see Marwa's screen for some reason. Let me try to fix that.
Okay, we will pause because I see her screen just fine. Let's see. If not, I can share my screen and we can do the same thing.
Good idea.
So
Richard says we do now.
Well, you see it now? Oh, all right. Well, there we go. Excellent. So Marwa, here we go.
Yes.
the
you,
joys
Mark.
of the internet.
Yes, thank you, Mark. So this is the classic report with some changes with the colors. What I did is I went to the templates in the shared component. I chose the standard report template that already existed, and I made a copy. And inside the copy, I changed some attributes there. I added some CSS classes to color the background. So this is the copy that I made here.
Let's take a look.
Right, and I
easy
added
stuff.
this.
Exactly. Yep. So you made that there on the table header. You did something else in the table row or the table data, right? And so we've got that, and that looks great. Now, there is a downside to doing this, and that specific downside, I'm not going to get to yet because I want to show the other option, and we'll come back to talking about the downside. But that works great, and you can do incredible things like this. Okay, so
yes. I just wanted to show that this is the template that I chose for the first classic report, not the standard one, but the copy.
Okay, great. So now show me the other way that we would approach this.
Yes, the second way is I did not make a copy of the template and I did not change it. I just added a CSS class to the region attributes or the report attributes. So the first one here is a classic report and the second one is an interactive report. On my page designer, I have the first classic report, and in the report attributes, I added this CSS class.
Okay, the Marwa CSS. Now the interactive report doesn't even have a place to do that in the attributes.
It does not. So I added that CSS class in the region attribute in the appearance section.
Oh, but it seems to have worked regardless of which way. Well, that's really interesting. My guess is that we've lost Marwa entirely. Oh, well, I don't see her anymore, but
I can see you.
Oh, okay. Well, let's keep going. We're having plenty of technical challenges. So what you did was you created a CSS file. Okay.
I created a CSS file to add the appropriate CSS code in there. I went to the static application files and I created really quickly here, I'm going to share with you the little file that I have. This one with the code inside of it, color, the background.
And I want to point something
Here,
out. You didn't hard color code the color. You used these variables. That's a key element here. You want to use these variables because then if you use Theme Roller to change your theme's colors, they'll show up no problem at all. So I think that's great. So you did the same kinds of things here. You applied this somewhere at the application definition, okay.
and in the user interface in the CSS section right here.
Okay, so this has some additional advantages. One is that it works for interactive reports as well. And you can apply it by doing it at the application level. This CSS is available throughout your entire application, and your browser will cache this file. So that little bit, even though that's just a little bit, the larger, if you had a really lot of CSS, it will cache it. It reduces the overall network traffic, so you don't have to pass a lot of information along. But I'm going to return to the other thing that you lose when you make the copy of that. So let's go look at an interactive report right now. Right here, in fact, if you want to go back to where you were just a moment ago, right here, we have this thing called accessible headers. That accessible headers is a fairly new feature of Apex. It's only a few years old. Oh, you just scrolled. Can you go back to where it was? Right there, accessible headers, it's on the screen. That accessible headers, that came into Apex a few years ago. If you had made a copy a few years ago and then Apex updated it, you wouldn't get this accessible headers. If Apex adds new things, you won't get them if you've made a copy because when you upgrade, it doesn't automatically happen. Let's take a look at what this accessible headers is. If we go back to our classic report and we edit any column, you can see that we can define a column as being the accessibility column right here. Value identifies row. That's a key element for screen readers and people with visual disabilities to be able to do that. And so I tend to try to avoid, if I can, making a copy of a template. So for something like this, my preference is to do the second approach. And
Yes.
I'd really like to hear what other people have what their thoughts are on this as well. Marwa, are there reasons that you've come across that you can't do the second approach?
The second one with the CSS file or the first
CSS
one?
file, yeah.
No, I like that approach a lot, and I can reuse the same CSS class across all the application and add it to any report that I want to make it look in a different way.
Yeah. Now, the one case that I will say that making a copy or making a significant change to that, if people go back and they watch, we did an Apex Instant Tip with Jorge Rimblas, and he shows a way to do really incredible stuff with classic reports. Sometimes that's a valuable approach, and then you may need to make a different, make a copy or make a change. But I guess the thing is, once you've made that change, keep in mind that you're not going to get any upgrades along the way. So a couple things to take away from it. In addition to just the general idea of trying to use your own CSS and not making a copy, is use the global variables when you use your CSS, and put that at the application level. Do one file that gets brought down when the user first accesses the application, and then it's cached so they don't have to keep reloading it. All right. So now we'll see if we can get Shakeeb to comment on this and see what his take on all of this is. He's really the absolute expert on these things, and I am curious. I'm curious what other people do as well. If you have another approach, let us know in the comments. Until then, do all the things. If you like the show, reach out to your friends, tell them all about it, send a letter to your mom, and we'll see you next week.
See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.